Well, first of all, right now you have Democrats and Republicans across a number of states counting votes. I support that. We should count every vote. And we are counting votes on a bipartisan basis. Georgia's counting votes. Pennsylvania's counting votes. Pennsylvania has a Republican House and a Republican Senate and a Democrat governor. Georgia has a Republican governor, Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican Secretary of State. Arizona has a Republican governor, Democrat House, and I think a Republican Senate. Bipartisan basis, the states that are still counting votes, Republicans and Democrats counting votes. That's a really good thing. They should count the votes based on whatever the rules are in each of those states. Second, there are certainly processes and rules and laws and regulations about recounts. If states pursue those under those processes, rules, and laws, perfectly appropriate. And there are courts in which these things can get addressed based on the laws as they currently stand in many of those states. If the courts end up getting involved, I hope they move quickly based on the facts, the processes, and the law. But at some point, you know, we're in like the 7th or 8th inning of this game. At some point, everybody's got to get used to the idea that we need to move forward as a country and deal with all of the significant issues that we have to deal with here. And finally, I think the President's comments that there's some national conspiracy around this aren't supported by any of the facts. And they are damaging to democracy. They cheapen all of those of us who serve in public life and who ran and who were either elected or defeated based on the will of the people. And I've been in a bunch of close elections, so have you. The rules are there. And, you know, almost every state in the country went through a major overhaul of the way they handled voting after the presidential election in 2000. People really did take a good hard look at the rules, the processes, and the administrative procedures that they all had in place across the country. And we need to count all the votes and recognize, I haven't heard anybody say much at all about the fact that we had the highest participation rate in our nation's history in this election. We should be celebrating this.
Thanks, everybody.
People took it seriously, they came out and they voted. That's a good thing.